It's time for Old Man Recommends, or doesn't recommend, or may recommend. This week, I had to stop watching. It's weird. I started watching the Netflix series called Monster, right? Starring Charlie Hunnam. Right, he's very good. It's a story of a mild-mannered farmer who loved his mommy a bit too much. That's all I'm going to tell about you. He loved his mommy, and he loved, well, it's a very strange story, right? It's based on a true story from the 1950s, I think, or 50s, about a grave robber and murderer, Ed Gein. And his story has struck so deeply into the US psyche that it was the inspiration not only for Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, but more recently, Silence of the Lambs. Some of it's appeared in that. Now, I must admit that I found the series somewhat vacuous, and it was guilty of glorifying the horrors which Gein carried out. And that's why I turned it off. They were actually depicting this wee bastard in almost a sympathetic fashion. It's a sick wee bastard. You know, it's changed. And the word psychiatry now, the word psychotic or psycho has been usurped and replaced by antisocial personality disorder. That's not very good for movies, but you can't say antisocial, but no, you can't see that ever appear on a billboard anywhere. A much more nuanced handling of the US phenomena of serial killers, and they're not unique to the US, but the US does do them very well. It has to be said. Serial killers come along. The US are Well, that's another Netflix series called Mindhunter, and it is interesting. It is very good. It's, again, based on a true story. It tells a story of the beginnings of the Behavioral Science Department of the FBI. Now it's known as the Behavioral Analysis Unit. Well, that's where they try to work out. It was in Hannibal Lecter. It was in all those there where, you know what I mean, she's part of it, just trying to work who he is. It was the brainchild of two agents way back in the day. A guy called John Kirsch and Eugene Krickerberger or something. Well, they had a brilliant idea, a very original idea. They decided to go, they knew that there were serial killers in prisons all around the US, and they thought to themselves, I wonder if we went and talked to these characters, could we get an insight into what the... So they went and they interviewed them all, and they found that there were indeed indicators in even childhood that people may be going on the wrong path. Indicators such as children have a lack of empathy or guilt, they have a tendency for persistent and skillful lying and manipulation and callousness towards others' feelings. You're sitting at home and you've heard that list and you're looking at your wife going,
yeah, that sounds like our Dolores.
Well, I have advice for you. I would lock your bedroom door before you go to sleep tonight. The one interesting thread in the Ed Gein story, Monster, was they did touch on the reality that these serial killers are actually quite often fans of serial killers. They follow other serial killers. They mimic their behaviours. They want to emulate their kill scores and all, sick as that can be. So with that in mind, the fact that Monster's makers dealt with Gein in a sympathetic fashion, almost making him out to be a victim, is disgraceful. Along with being mad, Gein was also undeniably bad, and that should have been acted as the foundation of his character. Like another American institution, sadly, is mass shootings in schools. Hardly a week passes across the Atlantic without some nut murdering kids at school, with many of the shooters proving to be devout fans of previous mass shooters, who again they want to emulate. With this in mind, many families in the US who have lost loved ones to these mass shootings are now demanding that the media stop using their name. Don't just call whoever it is the shooter, right? And the rationale is very good, it's brilliant. If these psychopathic murderers, if they're denied the fame that they so desperately need and the attendant publicity they seek, maybe that just might be enough to stop one of them. So the media should stop leading every story about a school shooting with not only the name, but also a full biography of the shooter. Deny them the publicity they're so desperate for and consign them to a pauper's grave with no name on the gravestone. That's all they should get. And as far as the movie makers are concerned, stop mythologizing murderers. as being highly intelligent, right? As in the case of Silence of the Lambs, or almost a victim, as in this recent case of Geen the Monster. The reality is, serial killers are invariably sexually dysfunctional creeps who get sexual arousal tormenting and killing innocent women. They are freaks, weirdos, loons, and to be mocked and ridiculed, not admired or copied.